Hello, Tiger fans. Welcome to this week's edition of Inside CU Sports here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we take a look around Lady Tiger and Tiger basketball a bit later on in the show. But first, we start with the men's volleyball coach here at Campbellsville University. Eric Snyder joins us, and Coach Snyder has the Tiger volleyball team ranked number 2 in the NAIA poll. The Tigers with a couple of big wins to open up the season. Coach, congratulations on a terrific job here out of the gate. I know you're still fairly new to Campbellsville, to the campus and different things, but you've really got this Tiger volleyball team rolling here early.
Yeah, this is an incredible community. The university is phenomenal. The people in this town are ridiculously supportive of the university, so this is, it's just an easy place to do well, and it's a testament to the people and the support mechanism that we have in place.
And as we get into the men's volleyball team, we do want to mention when you came onto campus, you were the women's volleyball coach. You took over the men's program as well. You were kind of pulling double duty. Here recently, the decision was made that you'll step away from the women's team. You'll focus your efforts on the men's side of things. You haven't seen a huge change yet because you're right in the middle of the men's season, but hopefully that'll open up a few more free hours for you during the week.
Probably a little bit, and I'll probably spend them all in recruiting. It's a great situation for us to be in, to be able to split the position and really take care of our student athletes. And Renata is going to do an amazing job. She has us, myself, and Billy Gregory, and a great support mechanism in place. She's been here for a long time, played here, and she's married to a former baseball player, and she's an incredible asset to this university, and she's going to do really well with the women's program. So.
The Tigers went on the road earlier this season, the neutral site games. You played the number 2 and number 3 ranked teams in the country. I think that was Missouri Baptist and Grandview, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So you go out there. You're an unranked team at the time, right?
Or receiving votes.
Receiving votes at the time. You go out there, you pull off a couple of big wins, and the next thing you know, you jump all the way up to number 2. We were talking off air, the sports I'm most familiar with, that doesn't happen. For you guys, that's a monumental leap right out of the gate.
Yeah, we're trying to stay humble. The guys were incredibly excited. They played ridiculously well that weekend. We were jacked up and excited to play some great competition. Grandview and Missouri Baptist are historic programs. They've won national championships. They have phenomenal talent. They're well coached. We went out there and played them back to back and just played inspired and played passionately. And then we also saw Quincy University, who was an NCAA. They're a Division II school, but their men's volleyball program plays an NCAA Division I conference. So we actually beat them as well. And so that weekend kind of set us up. I'm hoping we didn't plateau and keep working hard and again staying humble. But the guys played really well. I'm very proud of them.
And you guys are sitting 11-0 now, recently coming back from an NCCAA Invitational Championship. You went out there and played some really good teams, and you had a great weekend coming back with that championship here early, too.
That Invitational is growing exponentially on a yearly basis. We don't have a postseason championship. We have an Invitational in the middle of our championship, which brings out about 10 to 12 teams every year. And we went up there kind of expecting. Last year we had lost in the championship game, and we were kind of waiting and kind of anticipating getting there. So guys got to the championship game, and we saw the same team again in Ottawa, Arizona. They're again a very talented team, receiving votes for the NAI. Played passionately and came home with the title, and the guys were, some of the guys were crying after the game just because we worked so hard to get there, and again, played really well.
Walk me through this roster a little bit, and obviously you start singling people out, people get forgotten, but walk me through just the makeup and the roster construction and guys that you rely on night in and night out.
We had a great recruiting year this year and the past year as well, added to some awesome returners. Rafael Cruz is our kind of big senior right now. He's done a nice job along with Max and Tyler and Jeremy and Noel. Our freshman class coming in with the 2 Germans to add to our other 2 Germans that are on the team, Yannick and Mats, and then Ramon Matos coming in as a transfer from Lincoln College to join his former teammate Jodiel Povimero, and then John Montalvo coming off of a year sitting out as a redshirt. It's just all the pieces kind of came together. Everyone says that recruiting is the lifeblood. It absolutely is. And we brought in some very talented guys, but also very character-driven guys that kind of fit in together. They have all very unique personalities. They speak different languages, but we gel together pretty well, and the camaraderie is huge.
You had a few games at home, picked up some wins. You go conference matchup. Actually, that will take place before this airs. So you got a matchup with Cumberland University that will be a final by the time this makes air. But then you take the road trip. You're going to spend a week, 2 weeks in the Carolinas. Basically, you may come back for a few days, but you got a long road swing ahead of your team, and that's going to be a tough challenge on the road, playing some quality opponents.
Yeah, we're going to play a bunch of Conference Carolina teams, which is an NCAA Division II conference. NCAA Division I and II for men's volleyball is all the same. So they all play in the same governing body, and there's only about 45 in the country. But the 3 teams we're going to play when we're down there, Belmont Abbey, North Greenville, and Limestone, are all very talented. But we're just itching to play talented teams. Win or lose, the level of competition prepares you for the future. So,
and that's one thing, playing teams at that higher level. How does that work in terms of the ranking? Because we're most familiar again with some of your baseball, softball, basketball, football, and the way that those polls work. Does that get held against you by losing to a team that's in NCAA Division II, or how do the rankers, the raters, look at that?
I think a lot of the raters will look at it as a positive, win or lose, against a team that you're actually playing that level of competition. And with men's volleyball, since there's so few teams across the country, we'll play anyone and everyone to get that level of competition. We'll bring people here, we'll go there. It doesn't really matter. So the better the competition, the higher the level, the better it is for our program in any stretch of the imagination. So,
and that's not to insinuate that the Tigers will lose when you guys go on that road trip, but it's always it's kind of cool to know how that works behind the scenes. And we were talking a bit as well about just the Mid-South Conference. It's the Mid-South Conference, but those who are maybe traditionalists, for lack of a better word, it is completely different than anything you would know in a lot of some of the other sports. You're traveling to the Carolinas to play teams, Florida. They're spread out, and some unfamiliar names in terms of those teams that you play.
There's a lot of affiliate members for men's volleyball in the Mid-South. You have Warner and Weber that are right next to each other, but they're in Florida. They're in our conference. And St. Andrews out of North Carolina. You have Reinhardt and Life out of Georgia. We're fortunate enough to have the conference split us into North and South. We'll go down there for one big tournament and play those schools. They'll come up here for a tournament and play us. And then we'll have our regional teams up here in the north, Cumberland, Midway, Bluefield, Thomas More. So it's spread out, but we do it in a way where the travel isn't exponentially bad. It's not counterproductive. So we've done a nice job with it in our conference, and we're fortunate enough to have our conference tournament in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So that's right down the road.
That helps. Coach, best of luck here over the next few weeks. We'll get you back on as soon as we possibly can. The Tiger volleyball team will take on Cumberland University. You can check out the results of that at campbellsvilletigers.com. Then they take the road trip down to the Carolinas here over the next week or so. We'll step away, take a time out, come back and visit with the assistant coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Miranda Denny, joins us this week here on Inside CU Sports.
Central Kentucky's newest music venue is right around the corner. Located in Summersville, Kentucky, Green River Live is bringing you the artists you love in their new 1,000-seat venue. Shows every Saturday night featuring the Heart of Kentucky band, Green River Live's very own house band, made up of current and former touring musicians. Drop by the GRL Grill or our indoor concession area and pick up your very own Green River Live merchandise. Green River Live on the web at greenriverlive.com.
Keltner Contracting of Campbellsville is locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience. They offer services across the Campbellsville-Taylor County area and surrounding counties. Keltner Contracting offers heating and air installation, electrical services, and more. They carry a number of Tempstar products for your home or office. For more information, call 270-403-5444 or visit keltnercontracting.com.
Kendon Young and Sarah Clark are natives of Taylor County. They have grown up in the community and have close ties to the city and the county. Both have fond memories spent from downtown Campbellsville to Green River Lake. They decided to continue their education in their hometown at Campbellsville University. Taylor County Bank proudly claims them as both valued customers and members of our community. Taylor County Bank, invested in Campbellsville University, invested in the future of our young people.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Thanks for staying with us, Tiger fans. Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. We turn our attention from men's volleyball over to Lady Tiger basketball. The Lady Tigers go 2-0 last week. They had a home game with Life University, a road win over Cumberland University on Saturday down in Lebanon, Tennessee. And we're joined now by assistant coach for the Lady Tigers, Miranda Denny, who's filling in for Ginger High Colvin. Coach, she's got the bug, whatever's going around. She and Kobe have infected the entire household there, and they're down and out. So you're pinch hitting for Coach this week.
Yes, they're in quarantine right now as they need to be. So hoping they both feel better really soon.
The Lady Tigers, this is a rare occasion where they are off limits from heading to the Colvin household. So quarantine for Coach. We hope that they get to feeling better here in short order. But a nice weekend for you guys last weekend. You get the home win over Life, sets up the road trip down to Lebanon, Tennessee, and this is a road schedule now for you guys that you're going to have to get pretty familiar with. So you get that one on Saturday, 2 more coming up this week. The PAL Center, you're not going to see it too many more times this year, so it's nice to get that one on the road.
It was, and that's kind of been the trend. I feel like we've been on the road. You know, most of the preseason we were on the road, and so I feel like we're okay with that. We obviously did well and have played well on the road, so just something that we're going to have to get used to and be ready for some tough environments we're getting ready to walk into.
As we take a look at the box score from that win over Cumberland University on Saturday, the Lady Tigers a little neck and neck there the first 5-6 minutes of the ball game or so, and then finally go on a spurt, a run to open things up in the second quarter, especially 81-49, the final score over the Phoenix. Savannah Gregory led the way with 16 points. She had 6 rebounds and 3 steals. Madison Faulkner, 15 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, and Courtney Pritchett with one of her a line full of crooked numbers, 6 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals for Pritchett in that one. And Coach, a little slow out of the gates against Cumberland University, but you guys picked it up in that second quarter. I think went on a monster run to start the quarter, outdid Cumberland by around 20 points or so, and had a pretty comfortable lead at halftime.
We did. We just didn't come out aggressive enough. So the second quarter, we changed defenses and really tried to get after it, and that was the difference in the ball game. We were able to turn them over and just got some things going. When our defense is good, our offense is so much better, and so we just needed that little spark to kind of get our offense going.
You know, piggybacking on a couple of things that Coach Colvin and I talked about post-game, Savannah Gregory really starting to shoot a little better, which changes the dynamic for you guys a ton and what you're able to do. And then also, Faith Lake was amazing on Saturday, and you know that she's capable of those types of games. She's played in much bigger games in terms of go back to her high school career. Right. She's just kind of pigeonholed a little bit in terms of some of the gals around her, but she was terrific, maybe playing her best basketball. Those 2 gals really kind of changed things for you all.
Yeah, totally agree. When Savannah scores, it just opens everything up for us. It takes the pressure off of a Faulkner. It takes the pressure off of a Caitlin. And at the same time, you know, she didn't get many back doors early in the year because people didn't have to respect her outside shot. And once she starts making those shots, then Savannah becomes Savannah, and she's able to do the things that she's capable of. It. And totally agree about Faith. I think she's just now starting to find her groove and figure things out. And it's always been there, and we always knew she was capable, but I'm not sure she knew she was capable. So she's playing her best basketball right now, and I think she'll be a huge help towards the end of the season.
Going back to Thomas More, you guys had a terrific crowd at Thomas More. You go to Cumberland University on Saturday, and the Lady Tigers, the fans don't disappoint, especially Savannah. I know Courtney Pritchett had a ton of folks there as well. So, you know, what's that like for you guys? And you know you're going to go on the road, and there's a very good chance you're going to have just as many people there as the home team. That makes the road trip got to be a little easier.
Yeah,
right?
It is crazy. When you look up in the stands, and there's a lot of places we go, we have more people than the home team does, and that's such an advantage. You never feel like you're in a hostile environment or at a disadvantage because you have that many people on your side. Before the game, I was on Facebook. I happened to check. I know Courtney Pritchett brought 6 carloads of people from Pickett County. Like you say, Savannah had a huge crowd there, and it just boosts your team. It's a huge energy boost, and man, we're blessed with some of the best parents, some of the best fans. We have a great following.
And one lady Tiger that will get an individual recognition this week was Madison Faulkner. She picked up Mid-South Conference Player of the Week honors. Did Faulkner second time this season. She averaged 18 points in the 2 victories, 5 rebounds per ball game for Faulkner. And she had a bit of a rough stretch shooting there a week or so ago, Coach, last week, back to her normal self. It seemed, when Faulkner is good, when she is able to hit the mid-range and she's able to work around the rim, just like some of those other Lady Tigers, talk about Savannah and others, but when she's really good, it's a problem for opposing defenses.
It is. Ginger and I had the conversation last week. Does she have the best mid-range of anybody we've ever coached? And I think that answer is yes. When she gets that going, she's just impossible to guard because she can get to the rim. She can do so much other stuff, but that mid-range is really sweet. And like you say, she's carried the load for us this season. She went through a stretch. She pulled her hamstring a little bit, was a little dinged up a couple weeks ago, but I think she's back to form. And she's just special. She really is. She's a special offensive player.
You know, Coach and I were talking here a few weeks ago. Faulkner continues to climb the all-time scoring list. She's got her sights set on a couple of Lady Tigers that sit on the end of that bench in Lindsey Bird and Ginger High Colvin. Coach said, I'm fine if she passes me. That's just fine. Bird came up a little short, I believe, of passing her old head coach in her playing days, and we'll blame that on a few missed games that Lindsey had throughout her career. But a big weekend this weekend. On the road for 2 games, Shawnee State Thursday, Pikeville on Saturday. We can sit here for a half hour and talk about the Shawnee State matchup over the last few years. You guys have been atop the conference. Lindsey Wilson had a year or two sprinkled in there with Kayla Stiles where they were very impactful. But you guys have been the cream of the crop. It's always fun when you get together. It's a little more fun when the Lady Tigers win, obviously. Yes. And I know you kind of want a little bit of redemption from that home game earlier this season.
Absolutely. We went back and watched the film from the last game that we played. And it's one of the first times I feel like we just didn't compete. We just weren't ourselves. And so it'll be good to go back up there and show them who we really are and what we're really capable of. And as you say, the crowd will be great. It'll be an awesome environment, and it's an opportunity to rise to the challenge and kind of see what you're made of. It'll be really, really tough, and like I say, we'll see what we're made of.
And it's a Shawnee State team that dropped the 2 games sandwiched around the Lady Tigers last time. They lost at Lindsey Wilson prior to coming to the PAL, and then dropped one on the road the next week to Pikeville. So it's a Shawnee State team that, they can't focus too much on you guys. You guys the same thing because you have to make the trip down to Pikeville on Saturday. Coach Williams got a lot of nice pieces there. It was a big win for you at home earlier this year, but it's a Pikeville team that you can't overlook either.
It is a tough conference. There really are. There's no nights off. You have to be prepared for everybody, and I think we will be when we go up to Pikeville. I think we'll be ready for that. Like you say, we jumped out on them early here at home, but I think they'll be a different team on the road and have been kind of up and down, but when they're good, they're really good. So it's certainly not somebody that we're going to overlook.
And it's the first time, I was trying to go back and look, last time you played Pikeville in the U-Pike gym. I know you played there this year. I got all the way back to 12 and 13. I think I can confirm that you haven't played in the U-Pike gym since then, so we'd have to go on further back. I don't know if we can find that information, but it's been a while since you played the Bears in the old gym on campus. It won't be in the Expo Center that you've been used to. So fortunately, you've played there at least twice this year in the Classic you took part in.
Yes, it'd be good to be familiar with that. And it is a different environment. The Expo Center is so big and so open. There's not really a home court advantage, which is good for us. Right. And the U-Pike gym is different. It's a closer facility, and it'll give the home team a little bit more of an advantage.
Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Lady Tigers on the road for 2. That begins Shawnee State on Thursday evening. 5:45 coverage begins on 88.7. The Tiger tip-off scheduled for 6 p.m. at the Waller Gymnasium. We'll step away, take a timeout, come back and visit with the head coach of Tiger basketball. Brent Vernon joins us here on Inside CU Sports.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
The biggest buffet in town is at the Winters Dining Hall, located on Campbellsville University's campus. We've got it all, from our main entree lines, pizza, pasta, soup, subzone, and our new Fresh and Fit section. Don't forget about our dessert corner. Winters Dining Hall is open to the public 7 days a week. $7 for lunch, $8 for dinner. Winters Dining Hall at Campbellsville University, Find us at campbellsville.edu/dining hall.
Come find solace at Saloma Baptist, an intergenerational church.
Here, the family of Christ extends far past the walls, and hospitality is held on high.
We are committed in our pursuit of discipling every nation and generation.
For more information on service times, visit salomabaptist.com or call 270-789-0082 and add our Facebook at Saloma Baptist Church.
Saloma Baptist, ministering to the community and to the world in the 21st century.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you here in the WLCU studios as we transition over to Tiger basketball. The Tigers go on the road this past weekend on Saturday, pick up a big win over Cumberland University after a home win on Thursday against Life, pushing their conference record to 5-5. Coach Brent Vernon joins us now. And Coach, this has been a back and forth, a seesaw season. From the get-go, it seems like, but here you are with a few weeks left. You guys continue to fight, battle, scratch, claw, whatever term you want to use to kind of leave you in the mix, and two big ones last weekend over some teams that you really needed to beat.
Man, it was huge. I guess you could say we're sort of on the downhill with 6 games left in the season, and they were as big could get. You know, getting back to 500 in conference is huge, and just adding a few more total wins. So with 6 games left, you know, you really got to lock in and try to get some wins. It's a tough road. I mean, 4 of our last 6 are on the road against some very good teams. I think all 6 at some time have been ranked at some time this season. The new poll will be coming out, you know, later today, and I think whenever you see that, at least 4 of those 6 are going to be ranked at the time. So we've got a lot of games out there that are winnable, a lot of games that, you know, if you can win, it does a lot of things for your resume as we get later on in the year. So 2 big wins and going on the road and getting a win at Cumberland U, I think that was the one that really stands out to me.
It's a 10-point win over Life on Thursday, and then as Coach mentioned, the win over Cumberland University on the road. As we take a look at some of the numbers from that game between the Tigers and the Phoenix, Campbellsville with an 8-point victory, and it was kind of an unusual suspect there as you're following along on television or the online streaming there. DeAndre Singleton, 17 points. He was 8 of 9 from the floor, 6 rebounds. Richie Mitchell had 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field, a couple of 3-point makes. Tavion Mason, 11 points, 5 assists in the victory for the Tigers. And Coach, we'll start with DeAndre. He was nothing short of phenomenal. He was everything you needed. Guys were finding him in the right spots, rolling to the rim, couple of passes, easy layups, whatever it may be. He was finishing, got pressed into action with Jay Tuck being down. He's still working with a foot injury. Lenoris Mincy was in some foul trouble. Here you go, guy. Take over, see what you can do. And he was certainly impressive.
He was. I mean, efficient as can be. And, you know, he only did it in 20 minutes of action, which I'm not sure, you know, just conditioning-wise, if he can play a whole lot more minutes than that. I think 20 to 25 is max. But the one thing you know about Dre, when he gets an opportunity, he always plays extremely hard. He's one of the few guys that plays hard to where he has to ask for break, you know, and it's not that other guys don't. Dre just knows his limits, and some guys can fight through a little fatigue, but Dre, when he gets tired, he knows it's better for him to go ahead and get a break than try to fight through it because he's limited in some things. So obviously very happy with his production in the 20 minutes of game action he had, and honestly second half he lifted us over the top. I mean, he only had 3 points at the half, so second half had 14 points, a lot of them in the last probably 8 to 10 minutes in reality. So very, very good. Very happy for him. He stayed the course. He's always been a talented guy, has just fell behind some of our guys, and then, you know, got thrust into action, and you know, he's taken big time advantage of it. He's very good against Life as well. So happy to see that for him. You know, you saw Richie's stats, and Richie, he's been our leading scorer in conference play, so it's something that we're sort of getting accustomed to and used to, and even T's stats, having 11-5, and he only played about 5 minutes in the first half. So very impressive. I thought this was one of our most complete games as a team where so many guys got thrown into some roles and filled them very well. You know, Max Reyes hasn't seen many minutes in conference action, and even though it might have just been 4 or 5 in that first half, I thought he was huge. You know, 0 turnovers, really defended well. Nothing he did hurt us. Devontae Robinson had a tough task going in, having to guard Jalen Duke. So a lot of guys stepped up in little ways, and I think that shows the maturity of our team.
You may remember this point in the game. I looked out there, and there was a lineup you had on the floor. I never expected to see that one on the court at the same time. Tucker's hurt. Simmons is still out. You had some foul trouble with Norris and Tiavi. I think I looked out there. I think you had DeAndre, Sam, Devontae, Max, and I don't even remember who the fifth.
I think it was Jacob King.
It may have been Jake. And you look out there and you're like, holy smokes, of all the lineups I didn't expect to see today, it's that one. But they played really well out there together.
They did. You know, whenever T got his second foul, I think it was around a 2 or 3 point game. And whenever he got it early, you know, again, we said it last week, I think he's the guy that really makes us go. When he's good, we're good. And a lot of times for us to be good or bad, he's got to be out there. So, you know, got one of those where as a coach you get a little nervous, but it's one of those things that we've talked to our guys, and I really do have faith in all of our guys. Whenever you get in conference, sometimes your rotation really squeezes down, and it has for us. But I remember whenever I yelled for Max to get in there, mentally he was ready. I just don't think he was truly expecting it because of his minutes. And he went out there and did a very good job. And I thought, you know, Jake did some good things, made a 3, got an and one. We ran a couple of sets where it's not really stalling, but we're just trying to make the defense work and slowing down our offense. And I got Sam a 3, and Richie made a few 3s. But you look at it, you know, we scored 41 points in a half, shot around 60%. We were just extremely efficient. We were taking the right shots. We weren't forcing the issue. And that really did a great job of helping us get to a lead at the half.
You know, both teams were shooting pretty well at halftime. One team had to take a step forward, hope the other one would drop off. The Tigers did that. They shut Cumberland down a little bit there in that second half of play. And now, Coach, you turn your attention on the road, the longest road trip of the season in conference play for you guys. One of the few where you actually play back-to-back in one weekend. Shawnee State on Thursday night. It's a Shawnee State team that, I mean, they're electric. They can do just a little bit of everything. Kyrie Elder and E.J. Onu are 2 of the best players in the conference. And then you go to Pikeville on Saturday, traditional powerhouse in the Mid-South. They've struggled a little bit this year, but that's not going to be an easy task either. And 2 of those teams you mentioned have been or are in the top 25 this season.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle. I mean, Thursday, you know, obviously we got a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth from the first time we played Shawnee. They came in and they just buzzsawed us. I mean, before you could blink, it was 19-3, and we never could recover. I'm not giving our guys not credit. They really did try to battle back, but Shawnee was just so efficient and really got us to where we were on our heels the whole time. We never could really break into their lead, and they have hit a little bit of a lull. I mean, I think they've lost 3 in a row now in conference, and we're going up there with a little bit of momentum, I think. Our guys really are believing a whole lot more in themselves, and it's a big game. There's a 4-way tie for third, and Shawnee's one of those teams. So it'd be very big for us if we could go out there and get a win on the road, continue to trend upward. It's one that we definitely can. They're very hard to score against. I think for us, though, we've been preaching it. When you get into conference play, it's a lot more about defense, and our defense has to continue to get better and better, and we have to limit them to 1 shot, which we've been doing well for a half. Now we've got to put it together for a full 40, and if we can do that, I think we really have a chance on Thursday. And always, whenever you go to Pikeville, it's going to be a very tough contest.
Coach, best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Tigers on the road, Shawnee State, Pikeville this weekend. It all starts Thursday evening with the Shawnee State Bears in Portsmouth, Ohio at the Waller Gymnasium, February the 6th, 8 p.m. The start time for the Tigers immediately following our women's coverage. A special thank you to Eric Snyder, men's volleyball coach, for joining us, as well as assistant coach for the Lady Tigers, Miranda Denny, who joined us this week here on Inside CU Sports. We'll see you next time.
Kendon Young and Sarah Clark are natives of Taylor County. They have grown up in the community and have close ties to the city and the county. Both have fond memories spent from downtown Campbellsville to Green River Lake. They decided to continue their education in their hometown at Campbellsville University. Taylor County Bank proudly claims them as both valued customers and members of our community. Taylor County Bank, invested in Campbellsville University, invested in the future of our young people.